Hey, I'm Johnny. ENFJ versus INFJ. Stay tuned. The most important thing for all of us to keep in mind when it comes to personality type is to remember that your identity, who you are as an individual, can ultimately only be determined by you and not another person. I can't tell you who you are. So please use this video as a guide. Use it as maybe something that might give you a few tips and tricks or kind of guide you along the right path towards determining whether you're an INFJ or an ENFJ, or just for whatever your reason is, have fun. Let's have fun, all right? So the ENFJ and the INFJ. Let's run through the cognitive functions. The ENFJ has dominant first slot, extroverted feeling. They have auxiliary or second slot, introverted intuition. They have tertiary or third slot, extroverted sensing, and they have inferior or fourth slot, introverted thinking. Now get this. The INFJs are using the exact same cognitive functions, but in a different order. The INFJ has dominant or first slot introverted intuition, second slot extroverted feeling, third slot introverted thinking, and fourth slot extroverted sensing. So functions 1 and 3 for the INFJ, those are functions 2 and 4 for the ENFJ. And functions 1 and 3 for the ENFJ are functions 2 and 4 for the INFJ. This creates a lot of similarities, but it also creates a lot of differences. So the main similarities is that the INFJ and the ENFJ are all using the same functions but in a different order. If you like Kiersey, then you know that the NF temperament, those two middle letters, means that the ENFJ and the INFJ are both in the same temperament category known as the idealist, so they have a similar worldview, right? They're also both J types, so they tend to prefer, organization, having a plan. We're both using the same intuitive process. We're both using the same feeling process. We're both using the same thinking process. We're both using the same sensing process, right? So ENFJs and INFJs have all this stuff in common. It's just that the cognitive functions are in a different order, and this completely changes the flavor and the uniqueness of their personality. We could go on endlessly about how arranging one cognitive function in a different order dramatically changes the qualities of the personality. I want to keep this simple in this video for the sake of time. INFJs consistently, chronically report literally that they absorb emotions from people. Do you do that? Do you literally absorb the emotions of another person? I'm talking about you're in a store somewhere and someone who is angry is walking by you and you literally become angry. Internally, you feel inside, you feel angry. The vast majority of INFJs that I've ever spoken to, come in contact with, and then the information that I've read about them overwhelmingly have this symptom, have this occurrence in common. The absorbing of the emotions and the energies of other people. And I would venture to say that if you absorb the emotions of other people and the energies without even trying or wanting to, that is a good indication that you are an INFJ. That isn't to say that ENFJs can't absorb emotions. It's not to say that all INFJs do. I'm saying that this is a very strongly correlated pattern among INFJs, is this absorbing of the emotions of other people, whereas with ENFJs, we don't see it as often. Here's another major difference that I'll point out, and then we'll begin to wrap this up. INFJs are fairly often mistaken for extroverts, whereas ENFJs are very less frequently mistaken for introvert. That extroverted feeling being in the dominant slot for the ENFJ, it's pretty obvious to all that when the ENFJ is out and about and it's all about people focus, creating harmony, it is evident to all, generally evident to all, that this is an extrovert. Whereas an INFJ who is a true introvert will be in that land of abstraction dominantly of introverted intuition, and then they wield their extroverted feeling and people see that and it's like, okay, this is an entirely different flavor than what we were seeing from this person before. And this is again supported in the MBTI community. We're seeing this running theme, this running pattern pattern of these differences. Okay, there's so much information out there to confirm this. There are some ENFJs who are more introverted than others, and there are some INFJs who are more extroverted than others, but it is more common, much more common, for INFJs to be mistaken as extroverts than for ENFJs to be mistaken as introverts. Here's another big difference. An INFJ is going to get drained by interacting and spending time with people. If they go out and they spend a few hours out, that's going to drain their battery, their social battery. And that battery is going to be getting lower and lower and lower, and then until the INFJ is done and they withdraw and they retreat. ENFJs have a much higher tolerance for social activity, and indeed they are stimulated by it. You guys, I have a friend who's an ENFJ. He's a performer. He does shows and performs all weekends, parties all day, all night, on the weekends, shows, and then gets up early in the morning. He's roofing houses, and he's, painting decks and doing all this. And while that's going on, they're having a barbecue party where they're drinking beers and they're barbecuing hot dogs and hanging out and listening to rock music. And then it's all day long they're partying and having fun while he's working on the house or whatever. And then a show that night, and then get up at 5 a.m. the next 6 a.m. the next morning and do it all over again. And I've gone with him. I've followed him around on these weekends, you guys, and after 1 or 2 nights of it, I'm done. I need days to recover from that. That's not something that we frequently see with ENFJs, but it is something that we very commonly see among INFJs. Now, guys, there are other similarities and there are other differences, but again, for the sake of time in this video, I will just cut it short here. Which one do you think you are? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'll talk to you in the next video.